At Daphne's bachelorette party, she reveals she may be pregnant, and Deke offers to help Dylan. Daphne reveals she may be pregnant, Deke offers to help Dylan. Today on Bold and the Beautiful, Steffy and Taylor throw Daphne a surprise bridal shower complete with dancers, and Carter asks Rich to be his best man. Read the last B&B recap. Rich talked Taylor into ending things with Deacon, and Miss Dylan ate pizza from the garbage at Il Giardino. At the Cliff House, Steffy is relieved when her mother assures her that she and Deacon are finished. Steffy hugs her and tells her she wants her to be happy, just not with Deacon. As Daphne arrives and distracts Steffy, her mom thinks of Deacon. Donna joins them and their room is set out with pastries by servers who the ladies ogle. Daphne thanks Steffy for introducing her to Carter, and asks her to be her maid of honor. Steffy is so thrilled she almost cries. Once they get drinks, Daphne only drinks water. Steffy toasts to her friend and promises a wild bachelorette party. Daphne says they are getting married right away, and maybe celebrating again in 9 months. They are hoping she'll get pregnant right away. After they tell some stories, Steffy calls in the servers to dance. The disco lights come on and they do a routine before dancing the women around the floor. Once they settle down, Donna admits one of the dancers gave her his number. Daphne thanks them all for this. At Il Giardino, Deke notices his father is off. He assumes he's thinking about his marriage. They talk therapy and Deke thinks they should set up another group session. His dad isn't sure he'll see Taylor again. Deke is confused. Deacon assures him it's not because of him. He's been thinking about his future and it looks incredible. But that doesn't mean he will be able to get all he wants. At Forrester, Rich flashes back to convincing Taylor to stop seeing Deacon. Carter walks in to ask him to be his best man. After teasing him, Rich says he'd be honored and hugs him. Carter wants to get married as soon as possible, and on the runaway in the showroom. Rich thinks that's great. Carter knows he falls in love easily, but this is different. Rich suggests they call it destiny. As they eat, Rich tells him he will learn that compromise is his best friend. Carter announces that this is their bachelor party. Just them and pizza. He toasts with a slice. They chat about Katie's fashion house. They still have no idea who her designer is. Rich tells him that he may not be able to eat pizza once he's married. Carter can live with that. In the showroom, Will teases Electra about ripping off other jewelry lines as she looks at their socials. She claims she's just going market research and predicts that ballerina stuff is the next big thing. Will flashes back to Dylan dancing for him. He asks his girlfriend if she's heard from her friend. She hasn't. Will thinks that's odd. She admits she's called, but Dylan hasn't responded to her messages. She assumes if there was trouble, Dylan would have reached out. Electra tells him he's sweet and leaves to sign some paperwork as he thinks of Dylan. He hopes she's happy. In the Il Giardino alley, Dylan eats more garbage from the dumpster. Deke brings out another bag of trash and catches her. He assumes she's looking for something to eat, and asks if she has a place to stay. He notices her car is full of stuff. He introduces himself and says he's going to help her. The night air outside Il Giardino was cool. Dylan did not really feel it anymore. When you are hungry, it makes you not care about things like being proud or being embarrassed or even being scared. Dylan was sitting next to the trash can going through a bag that was almost torn in half. Her hands were moving fast like she had done this before. She had her hair pulled back. Some of it was falling in her face. She found a box that had pizza in it. It was still a little warm. This gave her some hope. She was looking at the pizza box from Il Giardino, and she really wanted to eat what was inside the pizza box from Il Giardino. She did not hear the footsteps until the bag of trash landed with a thud beside the woman. The bag of trash made a noise when it hit the ground. The woman was surprised when she heard the bag of trash land beside her. The sound of the bag of trash was really loud. Dylan just stopped moving all of a. He was still. Dylan did not say a word. The woman looked up slowly. Deke Sharp stood there with his eyes wide open. He looked really shocked and worried at the time. For a long time Deke Sharp and the other person did not say a word. The silence between them was pretty uncomfortable. The only sounds you could hear were the noise of cars driving by, and people laughing inside the restaurant. Deke said hey in a voice. He held up his hand so he would not frighten her. Deke did not mean to scare her, that is what he was trying to say. Deke wanted her to know that he did not want to startle Deke's friend. Dylan's face turned really red. She just tried to push the pizza box back, into the garbage, but Deke was too fast. He put out his hand. Stop Dylan gently. He did not want Dylan to throw the pizza box away. Dylan was trying to get rid of the pizza box because she did not want Deke to see it. He said that is not necessary softly. Dylan said, I am fine, but her voice did not sound fine. She looked upset. Said, just mind your own business, Dylan does not need you to worry about her. Dylan wanted to be left alone. She made that clear when she told him to mind his own business because Dylan was not in the mood to talk. Deke looked at the dumpster that was too full. Then he looked at the car that was parked near it. The back seat of the car was full of clothes and boxes. What looked like a pillow. Deke figured out what was going on away. The car was a mess. So was the dumpster. Deke thought about the car and the dumpster. He knew what was happening. The people who owned the car were throwing away a lot of things. They were also putting a lot of things in the car. Deke thought about this for a moment. Then he understood. The people who owned the car were moving away. They were getting rid of things they did not need. The man asked if I was going to stay in my car. He wanted to know if I was staying in my car. Dylan's face got all tense. He said, I did not say that. You did not have to do that for me. I mean, it was really nice of the person to do something like that. The person did something kind. I want to say thank you to the person. The person did not have to do it. She got up fast and brushed the dirt off her jeans. Look, if you are going to lecture the woman or feel sorry for the woman, do not. The woman does not need it. Deke shook his head. I am not here to judge you. I just do not think that people should be eating food out of a dumpster. The thing is, I think dumpster food is not good for people to eat. I do not think anyone should eat food from a dumpster. Dylan laughed in a way. He said, that is funny. I did not think that was funny either. Did I? Something in her voice really got to Deke. He felt bad. His attitude changed. He said, my name is Deke. I work here. I know who you are, she said quietly. Everyone knows who Deacon Sharp's golden boy is. Deacon Sharp's golden boy, that is who you are. He winced. That is very generous. She turned away. She was clearly done with the conversation. Deke hesitated for a moment. He said, let me at least get you some food, real food, you know, something good to eat. No, she said away. I cannot. He stopped her from talking. Said, I do not want you to feel like you owe me anything. He then said, just let digital technology services help. No, he said, just let me help the digital technology services. No, he said, let me help. Dylan looked at him, then she really looked at him. Something in Dylan's expression changed. You could see the exhaustion in Dylan's face. Dylan felt shame. Fear too. All of these feelings were there on Dylan's face. She asked this softly. Why do you even care about this thing? She wanted to know. Deke did not have an answer. He said, I would want someone to help me if I were in your place, so that is why I am helping you, because I would want someone to help me. She took a breath and nodded her head one time. That is fine. I am only going to eat food. Food is all I want. Across town, the energy inside the Cliff House was anything but quiet. The disco lights were still spinning around in a way as Daphne laughed. She was holding onto her glass of water. Steffy and Donna fell onto the couch next to Daphne. The waiters were done with what they were doing. Now the room was full of excitement. People were still feeling the adrenaline from before. Steffy said okay. Started fanning herself with her hand. She really did something this time. Steffy thought to herself that she officially did something than she ever has before. Steffy said that she outdid herself. Daphne said this with a smile. You always do things like this, she thought. I really cannot believe that you were able to pull off something like Daphne's party. Donna smiled knowingly. She said, Donna thinks that the woman is very motivated when it comes to weddings. Daphne put her hand on her stomach without thinking about it. Steffy saw this away. She knew something was up with Daphne. Steffy looked at Daphne, and Daphne could tell that Steffy had noticed what she had done. Daphne had rested her hand on her stomach. Now Steffy was staring at her. Steffy asked if you are okay. Daphne hesitated for a moment, then she nodded her head. Yes, that is true, she said. I just have this feeling that something's not quite right with me. I have been feeling off lately. I do not know what is wrong with Daphne. Taylor, who had been really quiet for most of the night, got a tense. Off in what way? Daphne looked around the room, then let out a sigh. I was not going to say anything about this, but I think I might actually be pregnant. The room just stopped. Everything was quiet. The room was really still. Steffy said what? She was really surprised. She breathed the word out slowly. Steffy was totally caught off guard and she did not know what to say, so all that came out was, "What?" Daphne said, "I have not taken a test yet." She said this quickly. Daphne is late. She has been feeling sick to her stomach. Water felt like a choice for Daphne tonight. Donna's eyes filled with tears instantly. Oh my goodness. Taylor sat down next to Daphne. She looked really worried and excited at the time. Taylor asked Daphne, "How do you feel about Taylor and Daphne being in this situation?" Daphne smiled softly. She said, "I am happy. I am terrified. I am feeling all of these things. Carter and Daphne want this to happen." Carter and Daphne talked about having a baby away. Steffy let out a squeal. She just could not help it. "Oh my God," she said. "If this Steffy is really hearing is true." Donna said that they are going to have 2 celebrations. They will celebrate one time. Then they will celebrate again. Donna finished talking. That is what she said. They are really happy about the 2 celebrations. The celebrations are something that Donna is looking forward to. Donna said that they are celebrating twice. Daphne laughed. She said, "Let us not get ahead of Daphne and her friends." Taylor watched them. She was smiling, but then her mind started to wander. It only wandered for a moment. That was all it took. She thought about Deacon. She remembered what happened at Electra. She recalled the conversation they had. The look on Deacon's face when she said goodbye to him. Taylor tried to push this thought out of her mind. This night was not supposed to be about the things Taylor regretted about Deacon. They just would not leave. Those people still lingered. At Forrester Creations, Ridge leaned back in his chair. He had a pizza box between him and Carter. There were grease stains on the napkins and crumbs over the desk. This was a sight in Ridge's office at Forrester Creations because Ridge always kept his office really clean. Carter said this as he lifted up his slice. This is what Carter will miss when Carter is married. Ridge said, "You will still eat pizza. You will just pretend that you do not like eating pizza." Carter. Then he got really serious. "I do not know how to explain this to you, Ridge. This thing just feels real to me. It feels like the deal. It is different from everything else I have seen before. It feels solid." Ridge nodded. He said, "That is how you know." Carter hesitated. He said to himself, "I am really doing the thing with this decision, or am I?" Then he asked out loud, "You really think Carter is doing the thing?" Ridge did not answer away. He thought about Brooke. He thought about Taylor. He thought about all the times that love felt right until it did not. Finally he said, "If you are asking that question, it means you care enough about the relationship to make the relationship work." Carter smiled. He felt relieved. He said, "Thanks, I want you to be there with me, standing next to me." Ridge stood up. He pulled him into a big hug. He said, "I would not miss it for anything." Dylan was back at Electra. She sat at a corner table. Dylan stared down at the plate of pasta in front of her. Deke had brought her the pasta. The steam from the pasta curled up into the air. It smelled good and it was comforting. Deke said, "You do not have to hurry." Deke said, "Nobody is watching, Deke, and you." She picked up her fork with fingers that were shaking bad. When she took the bite, it was almost too much for her. Tears started to fill her eyes as she was chewing. It was crazy that something as simple as eating was affecting her so much. The food was a normal meal, but to her being fed was a big deal. She said, "I had a job. I had an apartment. I also had friends." Deke was really paying attention. He listened carefully to what was being said. And then everything just fell apart, she said. It was like one bad thing happened and then another bad thing happened after that. Everything was going wrong with the things she was doing. The woman was talking about the things that happened to her. She said that one mistake happened and then another mistake happened. He nodded. That happens to a lot of people, more than you would think. It really does happen to a lot of people. She looked over at him. "Why are you really doing this thing with the project?" She wanted to know why he was really doing this project. He looked at her. "I see a person who needs some help, not someone who needs to be told what to do." There was silence between them. It was comfortable this time. The silence between them felt really nice. It was comfortable this time. Outside, Electra walked past, her phone pressed to her ear as she left another voicemail for Dylan. She did not get an answer. This was happening again with Dylan. "Please call me," Electra said quietly. She was really worried about something. She wanted to talk to someone. Electra was feeling scared. She needed to hear a friendly voice. "I am worried," Electra whispered again, hoping someone would listen to her and call her back soon. She hung up the phone. She had no idea that Dylan was sitting just a few feet away from her. He was alive. He was really hurt, and things were about to change for him in a big way. As Deke paid the bill, he turned back to Dylan. "You said you did not want anything. But if you change your mind, I know some places, I know some people, and Deke can help you get back on your feet with the help of these people and places that Deke knows." Dylan looked up at him. His eyes were shining. He said, "Maybe I will take you up on that." And he really meant it. Dylan was thinking about what he said. He thought that maybe he would really do it. Dylan looked at him again. Said, "Maybe I will take you up on that," because he was serious about taking him up on it. And somewhere across Los Angeles, as love was celebrated, secrets brewed, and futures shifted, fate quietly rearranged itself, one small act of kindness at a time. The restaurant was really quiet by the time Dylan was done eating. Il Giardino was closing up. They had chairs down on the tables, and you could hear the soft sound of silverware being put away in the background. Dylan leaned back in her chair, one hand on her stomach. She felt something she had not felt in a long time. Relief. She felt relief at Il Giardino. The feeling of relief was something Dylan really needed after weeks of not feeling that way. Dylan was happy to have eaten at Il Giardino, and to have felt relief. Deke looked at her closely. "Is that better?" She nodded. "I forgot what it is like to not feel hungry all the time, to not have food on my mind every day. I just forgot what it feels like to not be hungry." The man said that people should always remember that. He thinks that is something everyone should know and never forget. The thing is, people should always recall that. It is very important to him that people remember that. She took a breath and then she swallowed, and that is when she felt herself getting really emotional. "I did not plan for things to get this bad," she said to herself, feeling a little sad and scared about the situation with things. Seems like nobody ever does things like that. Nobody ever does what they are supposed to do. I think nobody ever does the thing when it really matters. Nobody ever does. She stopped for a moment, said, "Why are you still here? Do you not have else you need to go?" He shrugged. "I wanted to make sure you were okay." Becomes. He shrugged. "I wanted to make sure the person I care about you were okay. However, a better version would be." He shrugged. "I was worried about you. I wanted to make sure you were okay." Dylan said this in a quiet voice. "You are wasting your time with this," Dylan said about what they were doing. Dylan thought they were not going to get with this. He said that maybe he would do it. He thought it was his time to waste if he wanted to. His time was his own. He could waste it if that is what he wanted to do with his time. She looked at him closely, trying to figure out what was going on, what the trick was. There was nothing like that. That made her feel even more uneasy. She studied him some more, trying to find the problem, the thing that was not quite right. But the more she looked at him, the more she thought that there really was no problem, no trick, no catch. That was what bothered her the most about him. She thought about him. She thought about what he was saying, and she could not find anything wrong with it. That was what made her feel so uneasy, the fact that she could not find the angle, the thing that was supposed to be the catch. She said that she had people in her life. These people told her they cared about her. When she was no longer able to do things for them, they were gone. Deke leaned back in his chair. Then maybe it is time for him to meet people, like the people he has not met before, the new people. She looked down. "I do not know how to start my life over from the beginning with the same things, like my job and my home and my friends and all that. He told me that I do not have to do anything tonight. He said I should just make it through the night, that is all I have to do. I should just survive tonight." Outside, the streetlights started to come on as the city got quiet at night. The city was getting into its late-night routine. The streetlights were flickering on and off. The city was settling down for the night. At the Cliff House, the party had wound down to a quiet time. People had taken off their shoes, messed up their makeup, and the laughing was not so loud anymore. Daphne was sitting on the couch, all snuggled up in a blanket, and Steffy gave her a glass of ginger tea. Steffy said this with a smile on her face. She said, "In case." Steffy was really happy when she said that. Daphne looked happy. You are already acting like a mom. Donna laughed. She said, "Oh, she has been practicing since she..."